How to teach effective time management skills. In this episode, this is actually the sixth principle, the sixth episode, teaching 12 critical things we must teach our children to prepare them for the future. So we are addressing the question how to prepare your children for the future. Get ready. You wouldn't believe how many college graduates do not know how to manage their time even after they graduate. So my name's Doug Andrew, and I've helped many families optimize not only their financial assets now for more than 48 years, but also helping them to get balance in their life in what I call the 3 dimensions of authentic wealth. We talk about not only the money, the material possessions, but also family, relationships, health, faith, values, virtues, and so forth, as well as the wisdom that you gain throughout our life and experiences, your formal education, your reputation, and so forth. These are the 3 dimensions of authentic wealth: financial, foundational, and intellectual. So if you're watching this as the first episode, this is actually the 6th principle out of 12 that we discovered that so many of our clients who sent their children to colleges and universities to get educated, and when they graduated, many times they had to move back home because they couldn't find a job. We would test them on these 12 critical skills, and they would fail miserably. And we're like, what are they teaching our children at these universities? We would teach these 12 skills or principles to them in about 6 months, and they would have job offers lined up thereafter. So the purpose of this series is to have you get insights into these 12 principles. This is actually number 6 here on the screen. This shows the first 6, and we're going to be focused on this one. And then I encourage you to watch the other episodes also to prepare your children for the future. There's a handout that you can download when you go to the website I'll give you at the end. And you can see all of these 12 principles, and this is on the front and the back. This is the front, this is the back of this form, okay? So get ready. This is number 6, and it's understanding yourself and how to teach it to your loved ones, effective time management. Here we go. Now, I've been very blessed in my life to have many mentors, and I've belonged to several mastermind groups. One of them is Strategic Coach. It's headed by Dan Sullivan, and he has coached over 6,000 of the world's top entrepreneurs, and I'm honored to be one of them. In fact, after a few years, he handpicked me to be in this honored group of about 70 of the top entrepreneurs in America. So I was so honored and blessed to rub shoulders with the likes of Steve Forbes and Richard Branson and so forth. And instead of trying to be the smartest person in the room, we are all just interested in being in a room where everybody's trying to get smarter. And Dan Sullivan taught us this concept years ago, and I want you to understand where I'm coming from. So I'm going to explain it like he did, and then show you how I adapted this concept with our own children and grandchildren. Dan Sullivan said that most people in the world go through their entire lifetimes with what he called big C, little o. They have way more capability than they have opportunities. How sad is that? So his purpose with us as students, as fellow Strategic Coach members, was to flip that, so that the rest of our life we would have more opportunities than we had capability. That's a nice problem, and it's easy to solve with what he calls an opportunity filter. Now, I changed the terminology to availability and engagement, but see, the graduates out of a lot of the courses that I teach, this is my goal, to create way more opportunities in life than you possibly have the capability to seize, because that's a nice problem, and it's easy to solve by using a filter. Which opportunities are you going to seize? Which ones are you going to delegate? Which ones are you going to walk away from? So I wrote an article about this for Harvard Business Review with my take on Dan Sullivan's concept. Now, do you know how hard it is to get published in HBR? Yeah. Well, this article went to the front page in 24 hours. I was shocked. It was like, wait a minute, at Harvard, they are getting these insights on how to prioritize, how to determine which opportunities to seize, which ones to delegate, which ones to walk away from. I thought, my heavens, it hit the front page, and I'll show you what I was teaching in this article that sent it to the front page of HBR in less than 24 hours. Now, what I use is an engagement filter because when I teach my children and grandchildren in life, you want a lot of opportunities. You want engagement with other people. If you're going to be, a doctor or a dentist, you want to have engagement with your patients. A realtor with your clients, okay? A financial planner, whatever you do, you want engagement with other people. A is availability. And so just like big C, little o, a lot of people go through life and they have way more availability than they have engagement opportunities. We like to flip it to where you have big E, little a. You have way more engagement opportunities than you can possibly have availability to seize. That's a nice problem. And so I designed what is called the engagement filter, how to filter which engagements or opportunities you're going to seize, which ones you're going to delegate, which ones you're going to walk away from. Now, you could do this on a blank sheet of paper. At the end of this episode, I want to gift you a free copy of my most recent best-selling book, and there's a masterclass in there where you could actually download these. It's also in one of my books for entrepreneurs on 10 keys to achieve a meaningful transformation, to exponentially grow your business by 10x in less than 60 months. It's called the 10 Keys Transformation. But just follow with me the logic behind this engagement filter. So whenever we have an engagement opportunity with a client or with an alliance, a strategic alliance or something like that, we'll put down our name and date and the engagement opportunity across the top of the form. You can do this on a blank sheet of paper. Then we go through and score on a scale of a -1 to a +5 would be the best score, okay? In 5 different areas on this opportunity to be able to engage with this client or this alliance or whatever. The first criteria is impact. So what are we asking ourselves? How impactful is this for everyone involved? Is this a win-win-win? And we will score it over here in this box, a -1 if it's not good, all the way to a +5 for the impact. That's number 1. Number 2 would be magnify. What does that mean? Well, it says here, how much will this magnify my experience, cause it to grow, cause me to stretch, enhance my unique abilities? If it's going to magnify everybody's unique abilities and cause us to stretch and grow and learn, that would be a 5. If it's not, it would be clear down here to 1 or a 2 or a -1 if it's not going to do it at all. In fact, it worked in reverse maybe. The next criteria would be recommend. And so is this going to create opportunities to have recommendations or referrals? Am I going to refer people to this client or customer or alliance? Are they going to refer back to me? Is it a two-way street? If it's not going to be that, then it would score down here to -1 or a 1 or a 2. If there's a super chance for referability or recommending, that's a 5. The next would be leverage. Now, what's leverage? That's the ability to take your resources and create actually maybe a whole that's greater than the sum of the parts. And so does this leverage my core experience, for example? My core experience is in what I'm good at. Am I able to use it to enhance and create value for them and for us? Because I'm leveraging what I'm good at, my unique abilities, and I'm leveraging what they are good at, so that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So that is leverage. We get down to multiply, and we score ourselves a -1 to a +5. Will this multiply value and elevate all parties? Is this going to uplift everybody? Is this going to be like all boats arise with the tide? And it's going to magnify and enlarge and enhance all of the situation with the magnification, but also multiplying. And so if that is true, then we'll put down here a 4 or a 5 down here. When you get through with these 5 questions or filters from a score of -1 to +5, you add them all up down here. So you have your total score. Now you have quantified the opportunity to engage with this party or this client or customer. And so you should have a minimum score. When I first started doing this, my minimum score for these opportunities might have been a 16. Well, then as I had way more opportunities than I had availability, then I would raise the minimum bar to 20, 21, 22. I got to a point where the minimum bar was 24. If it didn't score 24 out of 25, my staff would not even bring the opportunity to me because they knew how to fill this out. I only had presented to me the ones that scored 24 or 25 if they happened to occur on the same date. So I could pick and choose. That's the only time I made the decision. This made it easier for my staff, my personal assistant, and for me to decide which opportunities, which engagements do I want to seize, which ones do I want to delegate to somebody else, which ones I want to totally walk away from. Is this making sense? So walk away, delegate, or seize. This is very powerful, and I'm going to share with you how you analyze from this what you do next with this opportunity to engage. Are you ready? Now, before I share this with you, if this is resonating with you and you're going, oh my heavens, I can think of somebody who ought to be watching this, be sure and share. Post a comment, click like, but most importantly, subscribe. Subscribe because it's free, and when you do, click that little bell to be notified every time I post a new educational video, which I do almost on a daily basis. And I want you to stay with me to the end of this episode because I'm going to gift you a copy of my most recent best-selling book that addresses these topics. Okay, here we go. With the engagement filter, the bottom part of this, you go through this breakthrough. This concept is shared on a lot of my tools. BREAK is an acronym that stands for barriers, resources, experiences, action, and knowledge. So once you see the opportunity, and if it's a go, you want to seize the opportunity, what barriers need to be overcome? And you write them over here. Next would be what skills, people, what resources do you need to harness in order to move ahead with this? What experiences can I draw from? What specific steps do I need to take? That's the action step. And then what knowledge do I need to obtain? When I get super clear here, now the chance that this opportunity, this engagement is just going to go through the roof. It's going to be extremely successful. So far, so good. Whenever you have time and you want to teach it to your children and grandchildren to manage, it reminds me of one of my first coaches, Leo Widener, and he was the author of a book called Achieving the Balance. And he had me do an exercise one day where I went down and I wrote my ideal me. Now, I did it here, for example, for a mother or a woman, a businesswoman. And this was the order of how she wanted to live her life. Over here is the ideal. She wanted, number one, to be spiritual, and the wife, and the mental and emotional, and then mother, all the way down to financial and social was the bottom part of her priorities. You put away this sheet of paper and you live life normally for a week or two. Then you pull it out and you arrange this in the order of actually how you're living your life. This is very revealing. So many times when I did the actual me, it was not in order. I was focused on money and my professional and so forth, and physical and so forth. My physical body, I was abusing it. When you answer honestly, why are there discrepancies between the ideal you and the actual you, you begin to make adjustments. And I did that by color coding my time, and I would keep track of how I invested my time and how I intended to and how I actually did. They didn't even look alike. I would color code on a Sunday night how I wanted the week to go, every single hour in a different color of highlighter. I had 6 different areas of my life I was trying to improve. And at the end of each day, I would actually color code how I really spent those hours. It didn't even mirror each other. It took me 6 months before they began to look alike. My life simplified and my income doubled. This is powerful. So, what I recommend is that as an entrepreneur, you have a time system where you have a life balance. So in my book, The 10 Keys Transformation, I have 5 different days that I manage my time. I have earning days, learning days, organizing days, strategizing days, and recreating days, okay? Recreation. which means you're recreating. This is where I get most of my juices and ideas to write books and to create educational videos like this, is when I'm out fly fishing. Now, I devote about 120 to 140 days a year where I'm earning in front of clients or in front of a camera or writing books or whatever. The three things that I do best. I have 24 to 48 days a year where I'm learning, I'm sharpening my saw, I'm developing new capabilities. I have another 24 to 48 days I color code where I'm organizing. I go in sweats. I'm just cleaning up stuff and messes. I have another 24 to 48 days where I am strategizing. I'm just having strategy sessions, maybe at the cabin or whatever, with my critical team. And then I have 120 to 140 days where I recreate. I get away. I don't check my voicemail, my email, or anything. I'm recreating, but this allows me to come up with all kinds of ideas when I come back from a vacation or fly fishing or a trip. My staff goes, oh no, Doug's coming back. He's going to have all kinds of ideas. That's because you're recreating. With this life balance system, it's unbelievable how you will begin to be productive, because you can earn most of your income in just 120 of these days a year. You can be enjoying life, whereas most entrepreneurs, they're doing some of this every single day or every single week. They have this. I am dedicating days to learning, earning, organizing, strategizing, recreating. It is my entrepreneurial time system. Now, how do you create a daily focus? This is one of the tools that I share. I developed something very simple where I write down my to-do list, and then I prioritize A, B, or C, and I take the A priorities, A1, A2, A3, and put it up here. What are the three most important things I need to accomplish today, that if at the end of the day, those are the only three things I accomplished, I'll feel like I'm winning. I'm on a win streak. I put them up there, and I make sure I check those off. This is my to-do list. These are notes and follow-up actions, and then I write down 3 positive accomplishments for the day. Very simple. But you need to be able to teach those you care about how to focus on what matters most. And so that's why in my various books and materials, I love empowering people like you. So here's how you can claim your free copy. If you go to entitlementabolitionbook.com, click on the link below, you contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I'll cover the rest of that cost. I'll fire out a copy of this 200-page book to you. There's also options there to listen and learn or watch and learn. If you want to do a deep dive, there's an 18-hour masterclass that I recorded on video. And it also contains libraries about a lot of these tools that I've been talking about in this episode. Click on the other episodes to learn the other principles, how you can help your children prepare for a brighter future.